morning, students. Today's topic is types of business organization, which comes under Unit 1. So, Unit 1 is Introduction to Management and Organizations, where we are learning about the different definitions of management, organization, who are managers, the skills of them, and how this management got evolved. So, we have already learned few theories called as scientific management theory, human relations, behavioral theory, contingency approaches, and now currently dealing with types of business organization. So when we talk about types of business organization, the major categories are sole traders, partners or partnership companies, followed by the corporate companies. Then we can again have two broader categories called as public and private sectors. So we are going to see all these. We have already dealt with sole traders and partnership in the previous class. I'll just give a recap on that and continue with the public and private sector enterprises in detail. So when we talk about organization, it is a group or a group of people who work to achieve the intended goals or policies in an organization. So there are different definitions given by different management people. So all those are put in the slide that we saw in the last class. So this is the diagrammatic view. We have the public sector, private sector, and then we have the civil society organization. So we are going to see all these in detail with examples. Basically, when we talk about public sector, it is by the government, it is owned by the government, it is nothing to do with the private organization or an individual or a group of individuals. It is run by the government. Okay, when we talk about private sector, it is owned by an individual or a group of people. So we have different categories in this, which are sole traders, partners, and the companies. Okay, so it can be a profit company as well as non-profit companies. So under private sector, as I said, sole traders. Who are sole traders? An individual who starts up or sets up a small business on his own. Okay, so he is the only investor in it and he is going to run the business. He is responsible for all the loss or profit incurred, and he is the one who is going to guide. If he want, he can have assistance to him. Okay, so example for sole traders are plumbers, electricians, television repair people, etc. So it is just with a smaller investment, this particular private sector can be run. Okay, the second one is partnership. So here at least two members will be involved. When we talk about partnership, it is dividing the work. So it could be the division of work, technical skills, expertise, money, capital, profit, loss. So everything can be shared. So it can be between two people or among a group of people. So usually the partnership will be found in the professional services, example, accountants, doctors, etc. Okay, so they are going to share all these, because if one person is absent for his personal reason, be it he is not well or he is on a leave or a holidays, the other person or the other people who are in the partnership will handle the organization well. And the third bigger one is companies, where it is by many people. Okay, so there will be n number of people who are called as shareholders, who will be the investors. Okay, so based on this, few people will be selected as directors. These directors will run the company. Okay, so shareholders can be any number of people. So depending on the size of the organization and the capital that is demanded, they will have the shareholders. Okay, they can call the shareholders through a general notice, or they can have it as a private sector also. So we are going to see something called as a PLC, which is public limited company, which falls under private sector only. Okay, so there we shall see the differences in giving the shares to the people. Okay, then the next one is franchise. So these are the licensing arrangements. Okay, so there will be a brand already which is established. Okay, from the brand, rights are alone distributed. Okay, so those rights are bought. Okay, they are bought by the people. Okay, and they are going to make they are going to have the agreement signed between the franchisor and the franchisee, and they will use the brand name, getting the rights from them. Okay, say for example, McDonald's. So we have so many McDonald outlets here. So those are the franchises. Okay, they will follow all the rules and regulations followed by the company. So they will have the brand name so that their business can be well established and developed. They can have a huge profit and they get the rights. They are going to buy the rights. That is what is franchise. So that is what is put up in diagrammatic way here. See, private sector, sole traders, we learn partnership, joint into family again, where the rights will be inherent to the family members. Cooperative society, company under company only. I was telling about this public limited company, which is PLC, otherwise called as limited business, and here it is called as private limited company. So we are going to have two things. It is based on how the shares are distributed, the names are given. Though the name public limited company, it is under the private sector only. Okay. So we are going to see this in detail today. The multinational corporation, again, the shares are being distributed, and the shareholders who have invested much will be elected as board of directors, and board of directors will run the show. See, in private sectors, we have the other categories which are called as irrespective of all these are based on how that actually functions. Okay, this is based on the profits. Okay, or the people who are involved in it. So for profit entities, we can call this one companies, PLC, private limited company, and all those. Okay, corporate or small businesses comes under the profit entities. Example, hotels. Okay, this one non-profit entities, it is all about the communities or the charities that are involved, though it is run by an individual or a group of individuals, that is not for profit, that is not intended for the profit, it is to help the people out, so it comes under the non-profit entity. The third one is individuals or family. As I said, individual sole traders are the example. Families, yes, it can be a family business. Okay, so the rights will be inherent by to the family members. So this is all about the private sector in brief. We saw all these in the last class. It's the strengths and weaknesses of the sole traders. Partnership. Partnership, we have two types of partnership that is to be understood. What the first one is general partnership. The second one is the limited partnership. The general partnership, all the partners will have the equal priority. They will have the equal responsibility. Everyone is responsible for the profit in the last incurred. Whereas limited partnership, at least one partner will be an inactive partner, meaning the responsibility is not shared equally. So, if you are given the other, I mean, they are free from the liability incurred. So, at least one partner is inactive. It doesn't mean that it should be one partner. There can be any number of partners who are inactive partners. At least one partner should be inactive. So, that it falls under this limited partnership. If no partner is inactive, everybody is active, means it will be put under general partnership, isn't it? That is why this tagline. Okay. So the limited partner has limited responsibility for debts and obligations. So he is not involved in all the activities in the organization. So the partnership, there might be disputes among the partners so that the organization may get dissolved. So the rules should be followed properly. There will be a contract signed, and everything will be divided. Profit, responsibility, be it anything, all those will be divided among the partners. Okay, depends whether it is a general partner or a limited partnership. It depends on the partnership that is chosen. The rules are laid out and it is followed. So we have already seen the strength and weakness of this, and advantages and disadvantages of this also in the last class. Then corporation, it is a business organization recognized as a law by as a separate legal entity. So there will be a many number of people involved in it, so they can buy a property, sell a property, and they need proper permission from the government to run such a big organization, because there will be employment to many people. So all the rules laid down by the organization will be checked by the government officials and it will be given approval with. So stock, and how are the stocks being sold? So the shares are being sold, and those people who buy this, those are called as stockholders or shareholders, and they become the part owners in the company. So they are going to divide the profits, and also they are responsible for the loss. I guess I just stopped with this in the previous class. So let's see this in detail. Common stock, it is a basic share of ownership in an organization. So all these people who have this common stock called as common stockholders will have the voting rights. What is to do with the voting rights? Man? The voting, based on these voting rights, they will be allowed to select the people who are the board members. Who are board members? Those are the people who are going to run the organization. So they will have all the rights with them. They will run the organization. They will select the people. They will recruit CEO of the company, CFO of the company. Okay. So they are going to decide on the what to say, decide on the changes that are required in an organization, and they are going to have all the decision making rights with them. Preferred stock, these are the non-voting shares of ownership, and this will be sold to the common people. So based on the company's rules and regulations, it will be given to the public, and they will not have these voting rights. Okay, so they will have the guaranteed dividend. If there is any profit in the organization, they will have a share in that. Okay, so elected by the common stockholders. So they are going to hire who these common stockholders are the people who are going to hire the CEO and CFO of the company. Advantages and disadvantages. What could be the advantages and disadvantages? Of course, many people are involved in this corporations, isn't it? So raising the financial capital is not a big deal at all. There will be many people who will be involved, so it is not a big deal. So selling stocks, buying stocks, all those are easier here. Ability to hire people. So there will be any number of people who could be recruited to run the organization more effectively. Limited liability and unlimited life. Even if one or the other board members dies or leaves the organization, also the other can run the organization more effectively. So ease of transferring ownership, even that is allowed. If a person is not willing to continue in the corporation, he or she might sell a share or stocks to the people who are willing, and he can leave the organization. And this stocks can be sold only to the members of the corporation. First, they should be a member, and then they can become the part owners. Who are part owners? The stockholders or the shareholders. Like when we apply a loan in a bank, we need to be the customers, isn't it? So first, we should become a member of the organization. Only then they can become the shareholders or stockholders. Disadvantages are also there because this is it is not a smaller environment, so it is a bigger setup, so infrastructure should be laid out before we run the business, so initial expenses are higher. So only if it is set up we can call out for the more number of partners or shareholders. So before we set up, there will be only a limited number of people who will be having interest in the corporation, and basically they will be the board of directors because they would have invested high. But expenses are high because there will be less number of people at the beginning stage. Owners are limited, who are the stockholders of the board of the directors. Here. Okay, and profits are double taxed. So these are the disadvantages. Now coming to public corporations. As I said, the company we have the public limited company PLC and the private limited company. Okay, the company is otherwise called as corporation here. So what is a public limited company and public limited corporation? So before getting into this particular public limited and private limited companies under private sector, let's have a look at what is first public sector. Okay, so we shall complete that and then continue with it, because now we have learnt almost all the sectors under the private sector. Now we shall have a look at the public sector, learn the difference between these two, and then get on to the more detailing of a private sector called as public limited company and private limited company. Those two falls under corporation. Okay, private corporation. So let's see public and then move on with that. So public corporation, so operate in the public sector and they are owned by the government. Okay, so it can be by a central government or by the state government. So these are the nationalized businesses purchased by the government. So this is to the welfare of the country, and it is something opposite to the privatization because the rights are not held by a single individual. It is by the state or the central government. So we are not going to worry about who is involved in this and who are going to leave the organization and all those. Obviously, the government officials will be there. Even if they're going to get retired and even if they want to resign or leave the organization, that is all okay, because we can bring the other people into the organization and run the show properly. So government choose directors to oversee the public corporations. All these are government employees only. So the government choose directors to oversee, which means to supervise the organization activities, and it should not be confused with the public limited companies. As I said, see, in this private sector corporations, we have PLC, which is public limited company. So we are yet to see that alone. So this public corporation should not be confused with the public limited company. Public limited company, it is a private sector. Okay, so that will be operated by a private sector only. So it is only owned by the government, state, center or state, this public corporation or the public sector. Okay. So it is usually by a special act of the parliament. So the law will be passed or a special act will be passed in the parliament. Only then this will be established. This is not a simple thing to be, set up within day or weeks. It will take longer period of time. It should be approved by the people in the parliament, and they will describe about the duties and the authorities involved in the setup. So though the capital is provided by the government, they have separate entity to be overseeing all these activities and enjoy independence in matters related to appointments, promotions, etc. Because though there will be a group of people involved in overseeing all those, they are not going to give the appointment, they are not going to do the recruitment process and all those. It is all based on the government policies, isn't it? So they need not worry about all these overheads. All is that they should check whether the things are going properly. The job is to just oversee or supervise the things in the organization. So merits and demerits. What could be the merit and demerit? Merit, obviously, it is not the individual's property which is involved, it is the government property, isn't it? So these are expected to provide better working conditions to the employees and supported to be better managed. Why is this? Why is this better working conditions? Which means good pay to the people, employees, fair wage. Okay, because it is by the government, isn't it? So a better working condition. It is not the individual's property, so we need not depend on an individual to provide all these. The government can take actions, okay, if it is needed. Quick decisions can be possible because of the absence of the bureaucratic control. So it is by the government. The decisions cannot be done by the individuals in the company. It is by the government. So more flexibility, and it is in the hands of the experienced and capable directors and managers. So who will be the board of directors here, ma? Well experienced people, well educated, well experienced people, almost who are having experience in the same kind of companies before. So the management is in the good hands. Okay, these are managed. If once again, it is R here. These are managed more efficiently than that of the government departments. Okay. So demerits, any alteration in the power or a particular amendment, it should be done as per the act that has been passed in the parliament. So all these requires an amendment to be passed. So this cannot be done like we do it in the private sector. I mean the board of directors and all those people. So that cannot be altered all of a sudden. So it should be according to the law being passed, and it requires an amendment in the particular act, which is difficult and time consuming. All of a sudden it can be done whenever the parliament has time to do all these only. It will be, because we have other priorities to be in the processed in the parliament, isn't it? So they'll have to wait for all these, the alteration of powers and all those. And public corporations possess monopoly, which means they have the control, and in the absence of competition, they are not interested in allowing the new techniques and all those. Whereas if it is a private sector, they will have competition with the other companies in the market, and they will excel well. Whereas this one, if in the absence of competition, they will not be held that responsible for applying the new techniques or for the improvement of the organization. Joint stock company. So coming back to the private sector, so joint stock company. So we have already seen the private sector and public sector by now. Okay. So because of the limited financial resources and heavy burden of risk, and this joint stock company got evolved. So here the capital is by different people who are called the shareholders. Okay, people will buy the shares and they will be called the shareholders. And the managing body is the board of directors here, who will be responsible for all the policy making and the decision making process. Okay, there are two types under this joint stock company. The first one is private limited company and the public limited company. Though we use the term public limited, it comes under only the private sector. Okay, so we are going to see the conditions, okay, or rules followed in these two. When we talk about the private limited company, it is formed by two or more people. I cannot start with a single person because it becomes a sole trader. It is a company here. So it can be found by two or more people, and the maximum number of membership is limited only to 50 members. We cannot have more than 50 people involved in the private limited company. Okay, so the shares will be among these only. I mean, it can be started with two people or to the maximum of 50 people. Okay, and the government has nothing to do with this, so they will not get interfered in this organization. Whereas the public limited company, again, here the shares are being sold and those will be called as shareholders. Here the shares are given to the public. So there will be advertisements and it will be distributed to the general public. And here it should be started with at least seven people and there is no upper limit at all. As the name specifies, public limited company, though it is run by the individual people, the shares are distributed to the general public. So it can be any number of people involved as per the owner's wish. Okay. Such companies can advertise yes, through prospectors, through brochures. It can advertise to the people about the shares, and these public limited companies are subject to greater control and supervision of control. It is not like a public corporation; it is a private sector. So people have owners are there, so they have invested much than the other smaller shareholders. So they will see that there is a greater amount of supervision or control. So merits and demerits: a liability, which means the authority being limited to the shareholder, and they bear no risk, and more people are encouraged to invest capital because there is board of directors who is going to oversee all those. Greater control is there, so no much risk is involved. Even if there is a risk, it will be divided among the people. So an individual will not be affected that much here. So stock companies are not affected by the death or retirement of these shareholders. Why? Because there will be many people involved, isn't it? Be private or the public limited company, there are many people involved. So the death or retirement of of a particular person will not affect the other shareholders. Disadvantages: it is difficult to preserve secrecy. Just think about this public limited company. There is no upper limit or threshold, so there cannot be any secrecy that is maintained. The rules laid down, the policies, decisions that are made, profits, loss, everything should be disseminated to the public who are the shareholders. So it requires a large amount of legal formalities to be absorbed. Lack of personal interest because many people are involved. More number of shareholders. So there will not be that much personal interest compared to the private limited company, and this point is just the public limited company. Okay, this is put as a general for both the private limited as well as public limited. So again, talking about the government company, it is run by the government, and so the directors are free to take decisions, whereas misuse of excessive freedom cannot be ruled out because politicians will have a upper hand in this because they will be they run the government, they will be involved in appointing the board of directors and all those. So the top officials will be policing the political leaders. Okay, so there is problem with this. Again, focusing on the private sector, just now we saw this. No, again, this is brought from it another textbook. So public and private limited companies. What is a public company, ma'am? And we mean here the public limited companies. Okay, so means that the share are traded and it is available to the members of the public to buy and sell the shares. So annual reports and adequate disclosure of financial information must be provided to the public, which means all that is happening in the organization is it's brought to the public because they are the shareholders. And private limited companies, it is owned by individuals or a group of individuals, isn't it? So they are the shareholders, part ownership, Board of directors manage the business. Usually, majority shareholders are the board of directors. So business is a separate legal unit. It is nothing to do with the government. What about PLC, public limited company? Just now I told it is a large business. So shares are sold to the public. It is also known as PLC or limited businesses. Where does this fall under? Under private sector. This should be remembered properly. See, with this itself the slides are over. Okay, first we learned about private sector, then the public sector, and now joint company, where we learned about the PLC, public limited company, and private limited company. Okay, these are the extra information brought from the other textbooks. Okay, extra slides. The public limited company owned by the government, they operate in the public sector. This point is a wrong point, wrong information. Public limited companies operate in the private sector only, and they are by the individuals, owned by the individuals. So this should be understood properly. Not the public limited companies are private companies. Advantages and disadvantages. So I'm going to stop with this. Okay, we are going to see the different kinds of partners and then stop the class today. Public limited companies, advantages, disadvantages. What could be the advantages? Just so we saw huge amount of capital, because there will be many number of shareholders. Production cost might be lower and gains, the profit is higher. Okay, it is easier to raise the finance. Then disadvantages. Setting up cost is higher, though it is to be sold to the public. First, it is set by only few people, isn't it? It is a private sector, obviously. So setting up cost is higher, and all company accounts can be inspected by any people in the public. Okay. So all those should be, the questions raised with the public should be answered by the board of directors. They are held responsible. So all these complications are there. See, just by investing a very meager amount also, people can raise questions against the board of directors. They are held responsible to all those shareholders. The way the operate is controlled by various company acts which aims to protect shareholders. So it is in favor of the shareholders. So that might be a threat to the board of directors if they are not going to work well, or give proper details, give proper account details. So there is reverse of ownership and control, which may lead to the interest of owners being ignored. What happens here? Though we have board of directors, there are many number of shareholders, so they might take the upper hand by raising questions against them. So PLCs are inflexible due to their size. These are the disadvantages. So types of private business, so just to recap on the topic, types of business organizations. So private, we have only 4 categories: sole trader, partnership, company, franchises. Under company only we learned about public limited company and private limited company, okay? Or public corporation and private corporation. Both means the same. They all fall under private business. So who is the owner of sole trader? The individual who has started it. He controls it. What is the source of income? His own savings, or he has to take the loan. Partnership, 2 or more people, they are the owners and they control the organization. It is their savings. Company, it's 2 to any number of people. And who takes the decision? Board of directors. And source of income, it is not just from the board of directors, it is from the shareholders also. Okay. Franchise. Who owns it? The franchisee owns it. Okay. Who controls again the franchisees, but it is getting the guidance from the franchisor or the brand company. Source of income, it is only by the franchisee. It's our own savings or borrowings, loans, and all those. It can be a group of individuals again here, or a single individual here. That is again put. See, these two are brought from 2 different textbooks. Okay, the same points are repeated. This is the last topic, types of partners. So we have learned about all these different types of organizations. So we need to know about the partners in a partnership or in a company. So we need to know about who are active partners. So there are 4 attributes that are taken into account: capital contribution, who gives the investment, who manages the business or controls, and who is involved in sharing the profit or loss, and liability, who holds the authority. So who is active partner? He is involved in all of this activity. He is liable. He involves in sharing the profit and loss. Okay, he takes the responsibility. He is the one who manages the business. He is the investor, capital investor. So all these are the activities by the active partner. Who is a sleeping or dormant partner? Though he is going to invest, he might not be held responsible in the day-to-day activities. He might not be involved in all the activities, so he does not participate in the management. But he shares the profit or loss because he has invested money, isn't it? So he's going to share profit or loss, and he is also liable. Now, secret partner, it is something same as that of the active partner, but he will not be directly involved in the works. So he will be investing the money, he will be participating in the management, but secretly. Like we have these celebrities that run different businesses, isn't it? Their name will not be used directly. That kind of thing. Okay, so participants in management but secretly, and obviously they are involved in uh, profits and losses because they are the investors. So these are very familiar topics to us. The other three that thought to be learned are nominal partner, partner by estoppel, partner by holding out. So we need to know about all these. So basically, this nominal partner is the one who does not be a major investor or the capital investor. He will not participate in the day-to-day activities. He generally is not worried about the shares and losses. Okay, that is label. Then we have the other 2 points, partner by estoppel and partner by holding out. So this is to be understood. So look at the points given here, ma. They will not be interested in investing amount, and also they will not be interested in doing the management activities, and they are not responsible for profits and losses. Then who are these people? Why are they called as partners? That is to be understood. Partner by estoppel is, assume that two people are running a business, okay? Only two partners are there, okay? And this person introduces himself to be a partner, and he issues a loan to his or her friend. If that friend is not going to repay the loan, this particular person is held responsible to it. He acts as if he is the partner. Okay. As he knows the owner, actual partners, he is going to project himself or her as partner, and he is going to issue the loan. That is how these two are involved in the partnership. And this is based on partner by estoppel is based on the honest or her good contact. He is being allowed to act as a partner. Partner by holding out, same. He is not the actual partner. He is not the investor, but he pretends to be a partner in the organization. Okay. So this is all about the partnership. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Any doubts? Thank you, students.